Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into the second match of Rift Rivals 2017. Joining me on the desk right now is going to be Jake and Jake. Both Jakes on the desk. Two Jakes too many.
He has a Y.
I'm the real Jake.
You're the real Jake? He's Spawn? Okay.
I actually believe I was born way before you, so I'm going to claim the real Jake.
That's up for debate, I reckon.
I don't reckon it is.
Well, we can have a fight off about that later on.
Hey, I'm not fighting him. He's way bigger than me. I just said that I claimed the Jake title because I was born first.
Well, then I think other Jake deserves to win that one now. We're about to go to the second match of today. It's going to be Legacy taking on Detonation. FocusMe, another Oceanic team playing in Rift Rivals' second game today. Are we going to see another Oceanic loss going into this match?
I mean, you would know better than me about this one. Legacy coming into this season, they've won all 3 of their games, but they've been 2-1. Haven't looked the cleanest.
No, definitely not. They've obviously... They haven't lost a game one, so they got that going for them. Yep. And obviously that'll help out in the best of ones. But yeah, they've lost, I believe, every game on red side.
Yep.
So that's something you've also got to look at. I'm not sure what they're starting on. Do you know?
I mean, they're starting on the blue side,
Blue
so
side,
that should be something.
there you go.
Maybe blue side drafts are OP for their coach, Soulstrike. Soul Strikes.
Yes.
However, when you have a look at this, I mean, Detonation FocusMe, they've got a little bit more of that international experience. I mean, they were still able to finish top of the LJL. We can't underestimate this lineup. And where they have experienced players in Utapon as well as Ceros, they are going up against, you know, the rookies of the lineup in Legacy, in Claire and Lost. So it will be an interesting game.
It definitely will. And before we break down that game a little bit further, we do have an interview with the mid laner for the Direwolves after their loss against Gigabyte Marines. Let's throw this one right now to Hingers.
Hey guys, I'm here with Fantix, a difficult loss in the first match. What were you guys' expectations going into that game?
Honestly, like, for our team in general, we had, like, mixed expectations going to the game. Like, we weren't really sure what to take from it. So, you know, I think, like, we all went in, like, with the intention of, you know, just testing out how the other teams play and, like, see how well, like, how much we can learn from this and, like, adapt for, you know, further on in the tournament. So, yeah, it was more of, like, an experimental game, I guess.
At what point did you guys feel that it had really gotten away from you in the game? Because I felt like it was very, very close right towards the end.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like you said, I think, it was pretty, like, close. Like, you know, we were just trading pressure back and forth, and then, you know, they just, they managed to, like, outmaneuver us in, like, the clutch situation. So, yeah.
So your next match is up against Rampage, the #1 LJL seed. How are you feeling about that moving forward?
Yeah, they're a pretty solid team, but, you know, I think they're definitely a lot weaker than Gigabyte Marines. So, yeah, I think we should be able to take that one.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, thanks for speaking to us and best of luck with that match.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting match to watch later today. Currently, Direwolves and Rampage are 1-1 internationally, so this will be the tiebreaker of sorts between them.
Yeah, I mean, when he says, you know, Gigabyte Marines are a stronger team, sure, they look stronger than everyone. I mean, I think that's a kind of throwaway subject. And Rampage haven't been able to go toe-to-toe with them, so obviously that's a match coming up. But, I mean, I don't really think that Direwolves have got the same cockiness or ego going into this tournament. They certainly seem a little bit more grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into the MSI, the play-in stage there, you know, everyone's seen the interview, the written interview and the spoken interview with Schönfire, and they were just, what were they going? If it's not SKT, we're not going to be scared.
Yeah.
But, you know, definitely the attitude they're taking now are much more grounded.
Not SKT or Gigabyte Marines, and we won't be scared. Just add another one to the list. We'll see whether that goes on. I mean, maybe they'll be scared of Rampage as well, but if it's not those two teams, they're still not scared.
No, I believe they were scared of every single team in their group when they played an MSI.
Hey, come on, moving on. We're on a different game. Legacy versus
Rift Rivals, not
FocusMe.
MSI.
Yeah, Legacy will be taking on Detonation FocusMe from the LJL heading into this match. We talked about it a little bit earlier on, but anything else you'd like to add heading into this game?
I'm just looking to see how Legacy are going to come into an international tournament. They've obviously got rookies, Claire, Lost, and even Cupcake's a rookie. Their bot lane style focus really works well in OS, but I just want to see how they transitioned it into a international tournament.
And I think that's a big thing for me because Tally has turned into a little bit more of a utility player, not playing the hard carries. I mean, he had one game on Lucian. They unfortunately lost that. So he was back to pretty much Gragas' duty at the end of the day. And I think that when you have a look at how historically this team won, it was based around top side pressure and Carbon really camping out that lane. Now, bottom lane kind of win naturally. Top lane needs to be utility because of all the damage that comes out of Cupcake, that comes out of Lost. And Carbon really has just turned into a farming jungler until team fights, which
it's turned into a bit of a support. You know, we saw in the OPL finals, he was building Redemption on Lee Sin and Cupcake was buying no pink wards.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit interesting. So I certainly think that stylistically, Legacy are playing the game differently than anyone else. I think that's where the OS has its own meta thing came from. We don't. Legacy just doesn't play the meta that
Anywhere
everyone
else
else
in the world,
plays.
really, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that Detonation FocusMe will also come into this one favorites, and I think that it's going to be a battle for OS pushing it uphill.
Yeah, but let's hold that thought for a minute because unfortunately we're having some more technical difficulties. We're going to a 15-minute break and we're back with Game 2 of Rift Rivals in just a bit.
Bummer.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into the second match of today. We apologize for those technical difficulties. Thankfully, we've been able to bring you out just a little bit ahead of time here. As always, I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is Jake Sponsbury, as well as Jake, the support for Avant-Garde in the OPL. We're about to bring you guys through this second match of today. And without further ado, let's bring up that lineup straight away for Legacy, representing Oceania. Oh, sorry, let's bring up the head-to-head first between Legacy and Detonation FocusMe. Legacy, number 2 seed from the OPL. Detonation FocusMe, narrowly number 2 seed for the LJL as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And you have to say that even though they were the number 2 seed coming in, no one really knows the relative strength of the top 3 teams. They all beat each other during the regular season. At the same time, Detonation FocusMe fell down 0-3 in the grand final versus Rampage, so there are still question marks over this roster. Although right now, they're top of the league, so who gives a damn? I mean, they're performing well.
Yeah, they went 1-1 against each other in the regular season, all the top 3 teams as well, so it's just more confusion to that stat.
Yeah, exactly right. At the same time, Legacy, however, we know that the perennial second place team, they were able to beat out the Chiefs, able to beat out the Sin gaming lineup, and right now the only team they were seeming to struggle against was the Direwolves. They've changed up their style a lot. Heavy bottom lane focus, a little bit shaky throughout the mid and top lane of the map, and we'll see whether that's enough to get it done against Detonation FocusMe.
Yep, and speaking of Legacy, let's now pull up their rosters really quick. Up in the top lane for Legacy is going to be their vice captain Tally. In the jungle, their captain Carbon, with Claire taking to the mid lane, who had a stint in the CS League of the LGL last year. Lost and Cupcake, the superstar support, probably the best bottom lane duo at the moment in the OPL. Have to see how they perform against
I mean, are they really? Raze has had 2 pentakills. Can you really say that they're the best
Raze
bottom
is
lane?
playing really well this split fight.
I mean, I don't know about duo lanes, but if I had to throw Raze up against a duo, that's probably who I would take into the AD carry position. At the same time, definitely do have their strengths, although very unorthodox. And I think that that is what leads the OS has its own meta conversation right now, is how unorthodox this lineup is. Yeah,
it's not even just the picks. It's for Legacy. It's how they play. Like we mentioned, their jungler Carbon's building Redemption. He's buying all the pink wards. Legacy will often draft Lucian into Champ Select then. We'll see how this goes. See if they'll pick up that Lucian Braum that I was just about to start talking about.
Let's see if we can get any predictions going up for you guys coming into the Champions League, because we're going to skip through that lineup really quickly and get right onto the riff as soon as possible. No more delays if possible as well. And straight away the bans are coming through. Legacy, target bans already on the blue side of the rift. They're going to take away Fiora as well as Elise, which is commonly a red side ban.
And both of these teams deciding to play their lineup that they actually submitted to us. I love when that happens. Of course, this is a team that we've seen so often in the OPL and the LJL. As we didn't go through their players, let's just hit on it very briefly. Siros, very good mid laner over in that, the LJL, known for pocket picks like Zillion, but also just a very good standard mid laner on the control mages. And Udapon was their AD carry, big Vayne, big hyper carry player, then went to top lane, back to AD carry. Interested to see how he performs. Yeah, also really interested to see this first pick Xayah come out of Legacy, see if they pair it up with the Rakan. A lot of regions, I think there's still a lot of mixed priority on those two as a duo lane. So let's see how Detonation respond. Looks like they're looking for the Thresh right now. I mean, Tahm Kench is still available, so that is going to be counterable. Don't know how the Rakan lane goes into it. Rakan seems to struggle a little bit into heavy bully lanes. Xayah doesn't have the longest range and needs some points in the E to really be able to get going. They, of course, have a fantastic level 1 together with the Ws being picked up. Yeah, they do have a lot of level 1 and 2 pressure in the bot lane, because obviously Xayah's W boosts up Rakan's movement speed, and I also believe he gets the attack speed bonus as well, which allows them to win out those early trades quite easily.
Well, let's see if they decide to lock it in. Instead, Legacy pick up Jace as their second pick of choice, probably flexing between Claire and Tally at the moment.
I mean, it certainly is a possibility. It's been one of Claire's better picks. He's always been known for his AD carry mid lane style. Corki also being relevant at the moment is definitely a boost for Legacy's composition. Rek'Sai getting priority in 2 drafts already, however, today is pretty interesting. I mean, it's seen a lot of picks overseas, and we're seeing that even though Shern didn't get the best mid-game, still had a very promising early game.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is one of those champions. It doesn't matter about his current damage output. He's able to get those really, really interesting gank paths over walls and such, with the early flashes as well.
Legacy went for the lock-in of Rakan to keep that duo in the bottom lane, not going for the time catch pick instead, whereas Detonation FocusMe, they go for an Ashe pickup for Yutapon.
I mean, I love this bottom lane already. Ashe Thresh has just got so much pressure at every stage of the game. As soon as they hit level 6, it even accelerates past that. We got one of the best ganking junglers, as you said, for Steel, going to be able to attack that bottom lane. And we know that's a generally winning lane for the Legacy lineup. We'll see how they go against Yutapon and Vivid, because that becomes pretty dangerous throughout the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives on both sides. Obviously, Rakan's got the flash ulti engage as well, so both bot lanes should feel pretty vulnerable coming into their level 6. Obviously, Zaya's got a little bit of an upper hand. She's got her ulti to get her out of there. But on the other side, Vivid's got the lantern for Yutapon.
And Detonation FocusMe seem to have done their research here, because both Nunu
double
and
utility
I was
jungle.
gonna touch on that. If they, I honestly thought Legacy were gonna early pick the Nunu, because Carbon has showed in the finals that, and even in this regular split of the OPL, that he is so much. He's like a different person on those champions, isn't he?
He certainly is. A flash snowball, engage Lord that comes out of Carbon.
I don't know what team that was against.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I think it was against, you know, the equal third place team in the OPL at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
No names, we'll just say ranks.
well, for Legacy, their bans are going to be Kennen in the top lane and Corki. Corki makes sense, is rising in popularity around the world, but is very famously used in Japan at the moment.
No Renekton ban. This is so interesting. Of course, perennial first pick. Oh, the Ziggs pickup, however.
That is very, very unique to Detonation FocusMe. They actually played that in the mid lane towards the end of their season and in the final run.
And quite a few times as well, not just an off pick here and there. So they've had some practice with the champion. We saw a little bit of Ziggs last split as well as early in this split being used in the bottom lane.
Yeah. Mid lane is relatively unknown for a while, since maybe Season 3 or so.
Yeah, it certainly is the case. However, what it means is if any of these ganks turn into a pick and Ziggs is able to get into the lane, they're going to be able to push down turrets very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. He's got his execute on his W now. That was that was the original change that brought him into the bot lane, being able to get those turrets down. A Rengar for Carbon.
Lock in Rengar for Carbon, and Tally will be picking up Rumble heading into the top lane.
Not sure how I feel about that. With Lee Sin available, with the fact that he can go towards something like a Kha'Zix if you want an aggressive jungler, has seen much more priority than Rengar. Of course, Carbon is a historically... I hate the fact that they're called Legacy Esports, because I can never say Carbon is a legacy Rengar player, because obviously he is. But that's a little bit strange to me coming through there. And Shen being picked up for Paz is also strange, because Rumble is a lane at the moment that you can bully with something like a Renekton, something like a Camille up there. Maybe even if you have the pocket pick coming out in the Skull champion. Kled. I always remember the stupid parts of champions. Like, I remember Willup and Skull, but I don't remember Nunu and Kled. So we'll see whether this is a different team cup coming out of that.
They could have even looked for something like the Jarvan as well for gank pressure, because we've talked about Rek'Sai's early gank pressure. It's really interesting to see, because, you know, you pick Shen usually with a hyper carry, something like a Kog'Maw or a Twitch, but obviously Ashe can scale really well, but in the early to mid game, they don't really have many threats.
I think that what they're going to be looking for, Fish, here is big, heavy focus into that bottom lane. They're going to shove out mid. They're going to roam down Seros. They're going to be able to get, you know, the Rek'Sai down into that bottom lane. Then with a Shen ultimate, that becomes a very deadly collapse that can come out into an Ashe lane, into a Thresh lane. So I like the draft that the LJL lineup has put together. I think that they definitely have the tools to be able to take the early game. Now it becomes how do Claire and Tally stand up to that pressure, and what this Rengar is able to do on Summoner's Rift, because historically has been a heavy farmer, but we've seen that fall off in junglers lately.
On top of that, LGL have a lot of initiation potential, great ways to lock down the side of Legacy. Legacy on the flip side, not much crowd control coming into this game against the Japanese team.
And the one thing you don't want to do against Zaya, however, is charge into her. So even though they have the ability to start up team fights, is going to be pretty interesting to check out if they are able to, you know, head first or rush into them.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how these types of team fights are going to play out, because both teams, they want to go towards the team fights. Obviously, Legacy's Claire on Jace can look to split push, open up a 1-3-1 into the Shen, because you assume Shen's going to build some early magic resist, so they might look to swap out those lanes there. But both teams have quite a bit of engage. You know, Legacy's Rakan, they've got the ulti Flash W, and Detonation FocusMe, they've got Ashe. So I'm interested to see how this will go into the mid game.
Yeah, we'll have to keep track of that later on in the match between Legacy and Detonation.
Steel, of course, if you just checked out his player cam, little bit jet lagged. The trip from Japan to Vietnam is famous for how long it is. Of course, it's only a couple of hour flight. But big yawn coming out of him right there at the moment, Fish.
And, you know, that's we'll have to see how this level 1 invade goes on first. So there is interesting discussion points between these two leagues, respectively. The LGL, it's a recently established server. I believe they only got it last year, and the competitive play has not been around for too long. But the good thing for them is the good part for Japan is the fact they've been able to play against other servers, something that Oceania is not able to do unless they want to accept a higher ping.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, even to get onto the some of the Garena servers is close to 120 to 150 ping, which when you're playing on 8 in Sydney isn't really the best.
Ooh, this is cheeky. They're moving in for an early invade on towards the Raptor camp started up by Carbon here.
They didn't get any, however.
No, they don't steal anything
So
at
instead
all.
they just leash for it. What good guys. I mean, historically, Ose and LJL have got on terrifically. I mean, all we hear about whenever they go overseas is that they are thick as thieves, they scrim each other, best of friends. So lending out a leash for the jungle, that is a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, just a helping hand.
And that's a really weird and interesting creative invade from Detonation FocusMe. Usually we see the blue team look to invade upon red side's Raptors, never really the other way around.
And suddenly Utapon's taken quite a bit of damage here. Not
That
quite
looked
sure
like
how he was
Lost
chunked
caught
out.
them 1v2 and still was able to chunk them out. I would love to have seen what happened there. You see more aggression here.
Going very aggressive in the bottom lane. Flash being burnt by Loss. Exhaust being used by a Cupcake.
And that is the double W start that you were talking
The
about.
incredible power spike coming out of Rakan and Zaya just shows, like, look at that. There's no counterplay to it, really. If the Rakan can catch you with that, he gets 150% move speed bonus or something, I believe, when Zaya activates the W for a short period of time. You can't, you know, an immobile carry like Ashe can't really do much to that at level 1.
And now Ashe has no flash or heal available for herself.
You can see that straight away, however, Rek'Sai paths down towards the bottom side of the map. Will meet out Carbon here, will steal.
Did he see him? Oh, there you go. Dropped the ward just at the last second.
Yep, so of course wards no longer break back. It is one of the most positive changes I can speak of that we have made to this game.
Trinkets only, actually.
Is it really?
As a poor support main, if you use your Sight Stone, it's actually going to stop your back.
I don't use play support at all. And when I do play support, Fish, I don't build sight stones.
Yeah.
So
When this guy plays support, he picks up Smite. I don't know how I feel whenever I play any of those games. It's just me underneath a turret with no support running around. But, you know, it's fine. Let's focus on these games where I don't have any Smite support spawn. But now that it's still a very even match between Legacy as well as Detonation FocusMe, it's still very early into the game as well. But no action taking place across the Rift.
Great stuff out of Legacy, using their early lane priority from that level 1 power spike and trade that we saw out of them to walk up into Steel's jungle and get a ward on his blue to see where he's at.
you can see that the hawk shot's being used to try and spot out Carbon's jungle path as well.
Yep.
We'll pass over the top of him right now. It's
That's
Claire.
aggressive. Claire going aggressive against Seros. Dodged out away from the satchel charge, but Seros is turning this one out quite nicely. Throws out a minefield and Steel flashes for the knock-up. First blood picked up by Rek'Sai.
That's really sloppy play out of Claire. He felt that he could go aggressive. He had Carbon on the jungle on top of him. Felt that they would be able to 2v2 if it came down to that. However, didn't burn the summoner spell early enough. The biggest lesson that you have on the international stage is if you're caught out, you will die instantly. And he could have flashed away from that, but instead loses his life.
Just like you said, really greedy stuff. As I mentioned, we were just done mentioning that Legacy's bot lane got an early ward up into the blue buff.
Once again, Rek'Sai is behind the duo. However, this time the Rek'Sai is being caught.
Yeah, he's going to have to use his tunnel to get out of that one, back towards the Drake pick. Good spot coming out from Legacy.
Yeah, like, as I was just saying, that Legacy's bot lane got the early ward on the blue buff. They saw what side of the jungle Steel was on, and Claire was just still playing greedily enough on that side of the map, which is really confusing.
And you can see Tally up on the top side of the map. Able to shove Paz underneath the turret here.
And I mean, that is a big CS advantage at this stage of the game. The reason it's still 400 gold, even though there was a kill as well as an assist worth about 800 gold going across, is the fact that Tally is up so much in CS.
And yeah, we just got to... Paz picked himself into this matchup. They had all the options in the world, and they've just picked this seemingly awful matchup. He's getting shoved into his tower. Carbon's probably got all the time in the world to go invade these Krugs right now, while Steel has to sit to his bot side.
And this is the patch where Rumble has been changed. If he survives till level 9, perfectly fine. In fact, ahead as he is at the moment, he's going to scale even better than he used to.
Yeah, a lot of his powers shift from his auto-shoving wave into a more controlled, higher damage on his E and a I believe his Q, the cooldown on his Q got doubled. So the fact that he's still able to do this into this matchup is just really great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it got doubled, but it got higher damage, and I think that, you know, it's one of those nerfs that was a little bit sneaky, just shifted power. Claire avoiding the gank this time around.
Good knockback onto the Rek'Sai, prevents Claire from getting knocked up.
Although we can see that Seros is very comfortable on the Ziggs, because it was able to weave a couple of extra empowered autos in there off the passive, as well as get the Satchel Explosion into the wall for some more damage.
Yeah, those really small things like weaving auto attacks into your combos just show complete mastery of a champion, and that's great.
And we've seen unorthodox picks or pocket picks from time to time show up in League of Legends and actually wreak havoc on opponent teams. Opposition teams.
See another engage coming out of Cupcake here, Fish.
Yeah, jumping on towards Villa, who gets Stand United from Shen to keep him alive. Lost in a sticky situation. Now he's caught between 4 members of the Japanese team. Good taunt landing onto Cupcake. He's forced to flash. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb thrown down their way as well. Tally's now a sitting duck. Will call on his captain Carbon to try and clean this one up, but he's not going to be able to do too much more. Rek'Sai's going to jump on top of him. Carbon will be taken down. And Detonation FocusMe trade 2 for 4.
Yeah, in the end, it's 4 kills that come across because Carbon falls down as well. Tally didn't even burn Flash. I mean, that was such a big commit out of the Legacy lineup. And Detonation FocusMe absolutely smashed them across the board. Now the Shen's got a kill. 2 kills over on Rek'Sai. And I mean, this is aggression, but they did not have vision on where Steel was.
Yeah, as I say, that I think the Shen, the top lanes both just hit 6. Tally was coming out of base. Obviously, really unfortunate time. But you see that right here, you see the Ziggs ult. That's the big difference between these two team comps. Both top laners were able to get down, both junglers were able to get down, but that Ziggs ult just allowing Detonation FocusMe that extra small bit of time to be able to clean up those kills really helped them out.
And also the fact that Shen gives impact before he lands into that gank. He's able to give a big shield, keep someone alive for a little bit longer. Tally was late, unfortunately, and didn't have the best of equalizers. So things going DFM's way. When you are ahead in CS, when you are the strength point on the map, you have to make sure that whenever you arrive, you have maximum impact.
And that teleport out of Tally is just so crucial now because Paz is going to have his Stand United up probably a minute and a half earlier than Tally's going to have his teleport up, which is going to be crucial to see where the next play goes on the map.
Yeah, but so that's when Tally has to start really shoving this wave. And the danger is Steel is also accelerated off that play. So if he shoves too hard, at this point in the game, they have the damage to be able to kill him. And you can see one more time, Steel is going to start attacking. Rek'Sai has great gank paths into the top side of the map when you are on red. And we'll see whether they go for it.
Tally does have flash. I believe Paz just missed his taunt there. Tally's getting good damage return. Rek'Sai pops the ultimate. Tally will try and flash away. In fact, wants to turn this around with Carbon's health. Equalizer separates the two. Good flash away from Steel to get under the safety of his turret.
I mean, a flash for a flash. A couple of ultimates burnt on the side of the Legacy lineup to try and get something done there. The correct idea. Carbon was a little bit too late. However, now they bring Claire into the fold. He's been spotted out, but he's Paz far enough away to be able to get out of this game.
Ooh, good taunt to get him back to safety. Doesn't connect with the second bowler strike, and a great shock blast combo from Claire will knock them out of the top lane turret. So, Legacy looking to try and take that turret, but look at this. Mega Inferno Bomb clears out the wave.
I was going to say Legacy had their eyes on the prize in the tower there, but that just shows Ziggs' strength. You know, Legacy are probably aren't used to playing against this pick, but Detonation FocusMe, they didn't even break a sweat there. They knew the bomb was coming.
And something Legacy are not really great at in the OPL is turret trades. Normally when we see them go for turret trades, they'll lose 2 for 1 almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, Legacy are obviously they're much more kill-oriented team. That's what they're known for in the OPL at least.
Yeah, and you can see that Claire is starting to get frustrated. He's taking some trades onto Seros, trying to make this mid lane work. However, he's down 20 CS, so he calls up his duo. Legacy still got the turret trade, but because of those kills as well as the CS discrepancies in mid lane, still going to be down 500 gold.
Yeah, 500 gold lead for Detonation FocusMe and a turret behind, so if they pull that one back later on, it'll be great for them. Meanwhile, Seros will pick up blue buff for himself. Ziggs will well and truly be online with this.
Yeah, and Seros, it looks like he's going for the Rod of Ages here, which is a kind of weird build. You'd expect the Morellonomicon into maybe like a Leandries or something like that. So he's still up 20 CS in this mid lane. We're just 1v1. Claire's not looking to build any magic resist, so I'm looking to see how this will scale into the mid game. But if Claire decides he wants to go split push, or if Detonation FocusMe, you're just going to group mid, because Claire doesn't have the cleanse. You've got to realize that at like next base, they could just catch him out of position with an Ash Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big worry now, is that Detonation FocusMe, with all their pick in their composition, have been able to win an early game, even through losing first turret. And when the map gets big and you're ahead and you're playing things like Ash, things like Thresh, you're able to just generate so much pressure, especially if you're playing in lane.
Almost get away from him.
Got to be a little bit worried fighting the jungle still against things like Rengar as well as the Rumble. But apart from that, they should be relatively safe going into this mid.
Yeah, Legacy fight. Even the bot lane and the mid lane, they all fight pretty well in the corridors. But I don't think Detonation FocusMe, they really shouldn't give them the opportunity to do that. Like I said, they should just look to, you know, both the teleports are up. Before Legacy can...
Here we go.
Gank in the mid lane. Claire's got to be careful. There's so many members of that Focus rushing that way. They force a flash out of the Jace.
Doesn't flash first time, dies. Second time, dodges, shouldn't have flashed, and still burns it.
Legacy looking for a fight though. Good equalizer. Keeps them stuck on. Sarah's going to get knocked up. Big charms coming out from Cupcake. Throws out the Mega Inferno Ball right on top of himself somehow. Zig's still alive, but it's going to be the Thresh that's in trouble. Tally is trying to chase him down. Picks up the kill eventually. It's a good team fight from Legacy.
So just as you're giving them compliments, you know, they're not going to fight in choke points. What do? All of the members funnel in. Cupcake showing his mastery on the Rakan. Dives into the backline, gets the big charm, the big knock up, and Legacy walk away from a one-team fight. This should lead to a Rift Herald, although it takes a while to do, and you still have to be a little bit careful.
I don't think they have any vision on it at the moment, though, which is all. Spotted him out with a Prey Seeker.
Ward is placed down by Steel as well, just behind the pit. Legacy looking to try and complete this one. Doesn't seem like the Rek'Sai wants to go over the wall.
Seros and Vivid are too far away. They just have to give that up at this stage.
And Rift Herald will be picked up by Carbon.
Yeah, that's what it's called. No, Rek'Sai cannot be picked up by Carbon. That is a champion on the enemy team. Can I please have an operational play-by-play caster?
I think that Rift Herald is really, really key into opening up the mid game for Legacy, because one of the things everyone knows about Ziggs, even in the bot lane, look what he's doing right now. He clears the wave like such ease, just throws his Q from 2,000 units away. That Rift Herald, if they use it properly, they should really look to open up this mid turret, which should allow them to get into the 1-3-1.
And this is why mid laners like Orianna, we're starting to see a little bit less priority. And it's just because you can't defend mid lane forever with Rift Herald on the map. Even if you throw a Mega Inferno Bomb, it's not going to instantly clear out the wave anymore. Rift Herald's still going to be there. So they kind of have that, we have a turret up our sleeve card to be played. And if they get a winning team fight in another corridor, potentially they push through for 2. And that's how they start snowballing the victory. Detonation FocusMe did such a good job in the early game of building a lead. We'll be able to get back in control here by taking down the mid lane turret.
Satchel charge.
Oh, he mistimed it.
Early.
I think he'll get it anyway.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got it. But
there you go. There's the icon that lets you know when to throw the satchel.
Ziggs is like his own little Rift Herald. Look at that.
You were telling me that he was a mastery of the champion. That you could tell by the auto attacks.
Maybe too much credit.
Well, it does tie up the turrets and does give Detonation FocusMe 1,000 gold lead for themselves. Let's see how Rift Herald is going to be used later on by Legacy.
And I think at this stage, Legacy are actually quite happy after what was a disastrous gank into the bottom lane. You know, a pretty poor showing from Claire for First Blood as well. When you are able to peg it back to, you know, 700 gold, and your lane's doing completely fine by CS, and you've got a good team fight composition as well as a little bit of 1-3-1 flair, you have to be happy with how it's ended up.
Yeah, definitely. We just have to see what... Do you think they're going to fight over this dragon? It's a water dragon. Legacy side, you know, they've got a heat user in Rumble, energy user in Rengar. They don't really want it. I really want to see them look to go towards the mid lane or the top side when Detonation FocusMe go for this dragon, because water dragon on Ziggs, Ashe, very, very important.
Well, let's see if they do go for it. We saw Steel tag it up, but decided to back in towards his own side of the jungle.
And they're just very worried that whilst they could use the dragon right now, if Rumble ticks over to a level 11 mark, if he's able to teleport down and have better impact through the equalizer this time, that is definitely a team fight that will go over the Legacy.
We've also got to realize that this Rift Herald doesn't last forever. I'd be interested to see how much... I can't imagine it's got 30, maybe 60 seconds left on it, so... They better get moving around the map.
Yeah, I mean, they have to generate a pick somehow, but really, when you've got a comp that wants to fight in chokes and a team that really wants to stay in laning phase for as long as possible, not going to happen. They've brought down the Rumble. They might look to pressure with Equalizer.
Oh, Carbon's ulting.
That's an interesting...
Oh, he's gone to get blue.
Seems like he's trying to push them off the turret. Seros does use his ultimate and clears out that minion wave, so...
That's a really bad play out of Legacy. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. That was if he had have attacked blue buff with the equalizer, you'd be like, he's a genius. Instead, they give over blue for free. They don't drop Rift Herald. The mid lane wave gets ulted, and there's absolutely nothing they can do now. Tally's just on the bottom side of the map.
That's just a... Did he use? Oh, he's used
Here
it.
we
I thought
go.
it just ticked away. Okay.
So now Rift Herald being used after Mega Inferno Bomb was used earlier on in the match. Let's see if they're going to be able to push for this turret. Already have some good chip damage. They actually engage. Ash Arrow being thrown from the fountain gets dodged by everyone. This turret's taking so much damage. Steals the first one to fall. Carbon gets away from the turret aggro as well. The rest of Detonation FocusMe will show up to try and defend what is remaining of this turret. Lost gets a few feathers into it, but Det FocusMe are able
Goodness
to
gracious
defend.
me, look how strong the wave clear is out of Detonation FocusMe, because Lost is such a low range AD carry, as well as Claire being, 550 range. They're actually not able to get the turret on that wave, even with a kill. They will be able to pick it up next time. But the longer this game goes, the more that grouping up around turrets becomes dangerous because of death sentences, because of arrows, and all that wave clear that Seros provides.
Yeah, but really great stuff out of Legacy there. They hit it like a 1-2-3. They got the Mega Inferno Bomb out on the first wave. They kind of baited them in. Detonation FocusMe went back to the lanes. They recalled, and then they just re-engaged once again, and that's great stuff.
I mean, was it planned, or did they look for a kill and then
It
think,
was
crap, all of a
planned.
sudden our Rift Herald's expiring, we need to drop it in the brush.
Oh, guys, it's got 10 seconds left. We better use it. No. We've got to give them credit. It was planned.
Well, it has given Legacy 1,000 gold lead over Det FocusMe, so let's see if they can use that to their advantage.
Adaptive Helm picked up in the top lane by the Shen. Of course, repetitive damage going to be coming out of the feathers, as well as the burn out of Rumble. So not the worst pickup this game.
I think that's actually a really high value pickup this game. Most of the time, it's pretty low impact. It's like against Rumble. It's very like Rumble specific item, but I believe it works against the Talia feathers as well.
Yeah.
Does that mean they want Shen to go up against Rumble for a period of time? Because everyone else from the side of Legacy is AD based.
He really has to. When you have a look at the Rumble lane, he's going to push so incredibly well. So you want to be able to match that through the tier mat. You want to have a little bit of anti-shove there. So looking for another fight.
Yeah, Carbon is going to be able to jump on towards the Thresh, who forces a flash there from Vivid.
That's respect. Straight away, he was just out of dodge. Didn't want to give up another turret, just burns the summoner spell, and now for a time, Vivid becomes the person that Carbon can target out with the next ultimate.
Yeah, I think it's really good respect out of Vivid there. He knows they don't really have to do anything. They're fine to stall for another 5 to 10 minutes until their champions really turn online.
I think the one thing they would have liked by now, however, is a little bit more pick. When you're level 10 with the Ashhold, it hasn't been thrown down mid lane once, although
Teleport.
Teamfight coming in now.
Legacy Startup Dragon are taking a lot of damage trying to get out of this pit. Carbon's locked down and gets blown up by the Ziggs to kick things off. Double kill for Seros in this fight. Late Equalizer coming out from Tally. He's trying to keep it alive. Triple kill for the Ziggs. Claire's going to be taken out by Steel, and that's an early ace for Detonation FocusMe.
And that is the second time that Tally has been late. Early teleport comes through from Paz. They want to fight. Tally thought he could walk to the team fight, and Legacy get wiped. All of a sudden, Detonation FocusMe. They pick up the ace, 2,000 gold, and now with this pushing competition, going to attack that mid lane turret.
That was honestly like the second half of that fight was so great out of Legacy. Once Tally got in there, you saw how impactful his equalizer was. It tore Detonation to shreds, but as you mentioned, Tally can't afford to teleport into these fights. It's so much slower than the Stand United that it's just, the first half is just ruined.
I mean, and that is shot calling. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're waiting for him to pull the trigger on that, once you've started up the Dragon, it's just inexcusable. You can see that the teleport is completed by Shen. Huge taunt, huge Mega Inferno Bomb, and Tally still just is not there. In the end, he gets a big equalizer. He does a lot of damage, but when you're playing a, 4-on-1 on the back end of a teamfight as Rumble, you're just not going to be able to win it. And disappointing out of a Legacy. This is where they generally excel.
Yeah, look at that. He got in there 3 seconds late. Look how much damage he was able to put on the back line of Detonation FocusMe.
Yutapon almost dying to the Ocean Dragon, though. Not so much Tally at the end of that team fight. Forced to heal. But one thing that's really awesome to watch from Det FocusMe is the fact that when one player decides we're going to fight, everyone's on the exact same page.
Great synergy out of them. You saw the layer of CC, the Chen Torn into the Ziggs ult. It was perfect.
I mean, they just don't hesitate. Let's just, as soon as the Dragon was started up, they were there. They knew that they wanted to fight. They felt they had the power spike on Seros. By the way, he's even more scary now. Probably going to go towards a Medjai's. If you don't with a 10-stack Dark Seal on a very safe carry like Rumble Ziggs, we'll see whether it works out. But Tally's still winning his lane. The rest of the map firmly in control of DFM.
He does have a decent amount of magic penetration at the moment, Tally, and Paz doesn't have too many ways to deal with him at the moment.
The problem with playing against the Ziggs, you only get a certain amount of mistakes because of how quickly he pushes turrets. I mean, we're only 20 minutes in the game, and one more mistake out of Legacy means mid lane is busted open, or you're losing double turrets on the side lane, which is just so crucial at this stage.
He's a very tanky Ziggs at the moment as well, with Landry's Torment being picked up. That's quite a bit of health bars.
The HP stacking. Gargoyle Stoneplate up next for Ziggs.
Gargoyle Stoneplate into Locket. What do you think his next item is going to be? Do you really think it's going to be the Medjais? I'd like to see him go towards a Lich Bane to really emphasize what you just touched on, his tower pushing build.
Oh.
If Legacy mess up in one fight, then that's an inhibitor gone if he has that Lich Bane or even just a Shen.
Legacy's just messed up. They've lost the side wave turret. They're going to lose the bottom wave turret as well to the Shen, who's already got Stand United back available. And they pushed into a Ziggs, which is just not really going to get you that far at this stage of the game. So
Legacy rock up to the mid lane turret, and Sarah just says, no, you can't have this. Never.
And this is the matchup I thought Legacy were going to do, but I don't really think this is necessary at this point. We just saw for a brief moment before that Tally was still able to pressure into the Shen and chunk him out, and which would eventually lead to tower damage.
yeah, but the thing is that potentially Claire can stop the TP, whereas Tally has no tools to be able to do it, and they really want Tally there for the team fight if they do happen to go for it.
I really think they need Claire for the wave clear.
DFM taking,
Look at that.
getting so much damage onto the top lane inner turret. Cupcake looking for an engage onto Steel, just knocks him up. Karma tries to throw out a boller, does not connect.
Unfortunately, as the support solo, you just don't have that much kill threat at Rek'Sai at this stage of the game. So Steel actually just meanders his way through the jungle, takes in the sights, loses no health whatsoever, and Legacy, 3,000 gold down, and now playing pretty much on the back foot.
Yeah, and what you've really got to look for here is that Detonation are dictating where the lanes are going, which is really, it's indicative by every single player on their team having an XP advantage. Obviously, the support doesn't matter too much, but everyone else is generating an XP lead, which is worth 500-600 gold for each level. So you've got to look like even deeper into the scoreboard.
Let's see if Detonation FocusMe can continue to increase their lead against Legacy, who have had their backs against the wall
Zeros is
so
going
far.
back. Oh, he gets an needlessly large rod. So potentially going to be Deathcap, potentially going to be Ludens. Ludens would make a little bit more sense. He hasn't got the biggest AP stacking build. But Deathcap certainly, as the game progresses, does a lot more damage.
Really weird build out of Vivid.
Yeah, Redemption pickup.
On the latest patch, Redemption, the base healing was nerfed quite a bit, and it was, I believe, so heal and shield power on it was, the scaling was tripled. So I'm not sure, I haven't seen that lately on the first item.
Ejim talked a little bit about it in the OPL, how it's really good after you pick up Mikhail's and then Redemption, because that triple stacking stuff.
Mikhail's are Artificer, yeah. But on it's not, I haven't seen it rushed as a standalone in this patch.
Let's see how he uses it. I mean, could just be dropped on a wave for wave clear with the Mega Effect.
There's not all that much you want in Mikhail's apart from the... Because it doesn't really impact knockups all that much, right? So unless you're really getting the charm without the knockup, which just doesn't happen all that much, or what, Feathers, Bowler, there's not really that much you want to be able to use it on.
Well, let's see what he starts to pick up later on in the match. Could still be used just for a bit of healing. Carmen popping his ultimate here. He's looking for a fight, but big dark passage being thrown out by Vivid gets Unicorn back to safety.
I mean, that's just another poor ultimate coming out of Carbon. They had no one in initiation range apart from himself on Rengar. Leaping into the team at this stage would have been suicide. Carbon has also gone with the Knight's Vow pickup.
Yeah, I was really questioning Schernfire's build path last game as well. It seems like these guys have been scrimming each other, but going...
Knight's Vow Locket. Oh, we've got it.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Here
Support Carbon has entered Summoner's Rep.
Oh, guys.
He's playing an AD Assassin on the Rengar.
Why wouldn't they just get the Nunu early?
You have to remember, this is a man who in the OPL has picked up Locket into Redemption on Lee Sin.
Lee Sin
has
kind of is
shield.
known for his kick, right? So it makes sense. You don't really do that much else.
His kicks and that's his contribution to the fight. But Rengar,
I would argue that Rengar needs to do damage to be a legitimate threat.
Maybe old Rengar, Season 3, Season 4 Rengar, he could be a pick bot.
I mean, his base stats were also much higher than they currently are.
And he obviously could charge up his passive before he ulted. But this Rengar really seems like he's more of an assassin, and this build doesn't make a whole lot of sense out of Carbon.
Let's see if he is able to use it to great success. He's buffing up Lost at the moment with that Knight's Vow.
On the other side, we actually have Steel going for what I believe is the correct Rek'Sai build at the moment. Goes for the tank stats in the Cinder Hulk into what is going to be the Titanic Hydra, now has fantastic synergy with Gargoyle's Stoneplate, and then can pick up the Locket, is still a damage threat, clears very quickly. This is a team fight, Fifth.
Yep, Legacy looking for a fight. They catch out Detonation FocusMe. Mega Inferno Bomb will connect onto 4 members. Tally's in the back lines on top of Utapon. He's got nowhere to go. Blast Cone will get him to safety. He's still burning. A Carbon tries to launch in, but Seros interrupts his jump with the satchel charge. They take down the captain.
Big equalizer.
Paz right into the back lines. Double kill picked up by Seros. Claire looking for a fight. Almost gets taken down. Paz still trying to go toe-to-toe. He's going to be knocked away. Suddenly Steel's got to get out of there as well. Feda's being thrown into the Ninja himself. Shock Blast narrowly away from the Rek'Sai. Legacy will be able to pick up a 2-for-2 trade.
Yeah, and that should have been so much better for Legacy. You can see the nerves are creeping in because they got 2 members to sub 100 health and still weren't able to pick them off. Tally flash forward for an auto attack. I mean, when you look at this, that's a perfect start to a fight, Jake, and they just fell over on the late execution.
Yeah, what's really key things in this fight, Tally was able to get in before the Shen could have an impact. Look at this Ashe here. If Tally was able to get vision, he just came out of unheat. Oh, he had his ulti up at this point. If he was able to snipe that off, looked like Legacy were split on the Shen. Carbon was too far forward.
I mean, that's just really nice execution coming out of Steel as well as Seros on the back end of this team fight. I mean, they ultimately fall down, but at the same time, that could have been... That was a very recoverable fight because of the fact that Seros satcheled Carbon out of his lead.
Really big team fight pick up from Legacy. They're catching Detonation FocusMe off guard, but DFM still have a 3,000 gold lead for themselves with a double Ocean Dragon.
Looks like it is the Ludens for Seros, so that's just doubling down on the wave clear. Legacy are going to get even... They're going to have to get more and more desperate as the game goes on.
He actually sold his Dark Seal after he died, so 1 death on the Dark Seal.
That's only
6 stacks.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. Throw it in the bin. No longer worthwhile.
As a support main, I've got to say that Pink Ward looks mighty fine in his inventory instead of that Dark Seal.
Seros really being a team player at the moment on his 6. Knows that he is not immortal and can fall to the hands of the tree.
Can't get rid of course, the Dorian's Ring. That gives you health. He's a very tanky Z.
So it looks like
He needs that for his Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Steel's going towards the Dead Man's Plate, I believe.
Yep.
So not looking for that Knight's Vow or Locket or the Gargoyle Plate, as we thought. I'll be interesting to see. I guess Vivid's going to pick up... Yeah, he looks like he's picking up the Locket or the Knight's Vow now.
Yeah, let's see what he decides to pick up, because he's still only just completed his couple of items here, so we'll be starving for a little bit on Fresh.
No Locket versus a very fed Rumble, however, could be the turning point of this game, because Locket at this point is just so good. The big burst shield that you get at the time you actually want it to come through, as opposed to the delayed healing of the Redemption. Is just able to set up team fights. And right now, Tally is a monster. He's got 4 items. He's sitting on his Zhonya's. He's going to be able to burn the entire back line. If he gets a good equalizer into an overheat flash onto Utapon or Ceres, it's just lights out for the entire lineup.
Yeah, with the change on the support items this patch, they've tried to separate it between the heal shield supports and the tankier supports, with Locket scaling. Oh, looks like there's a Rengar ult coming through.
Looking to try and force a team fight. It seems Utapon's been
They
spotted
have
out.
split off Vivid, however.
Yeah, and the Shock Blast combo did not connect as well. Carbon trying to run into the pit, see if he can catch someone off guard, not able to do so.
Third ultimate of the game that Carbon has used that has absolutely achieved nothing.
Seros is just going to chuck a ult mid.
Yep.
And they're still scanning out. They find Vivid as well as the rest of Det FocusMe moving through the jungle.
Hasn't ulted yet. He thinks there's a team fight in the making.
Shock Blast combo did
There
not
it is.
connect.
There we
Mega
go.
Inferno Bomb early. Cupcake caught out. Has to dash back to Lost. Gets that extra range. Paz has been called up. Good sidestep from Carbon, but he's a sitting duck at the moment. Equalizer use trying to deter them. Shock Blast combo onto everyone. Good damage. Redemption will heal them back up slightly. Feathers being thrown into the back lines by Lost. Cupcake's trying to charm his way out of some trouble here. Det FocusMe, they're incredibly split, and Tally is now burning through the back lines. Pops his Zhonya's a little bit early, but Claire snipes him from downtown, and Rumble is still chasing the back line of Det FocusMe. In the end, it's just a 1-for-1 trade.
I actually love that Zhonya's coming out of Tally. It prevents any damage that's going to come out. It means he can continue the fight. However, once again, Detonation FocusMe were able to split up Legacy. You saw that Rumble was on one side of the team fight with Lost. Cupcake, Carbon, and Tally were chasing the opposite side of the team. Really does look like a confused Legacy lineup that are just winning through being stronger at this stage of the game. Teleport?
Teleport's coming in.
Yeah.
Seems like Paz
Flank.
wants to get a deep teleport flank. Will get knocked back. Only taunts Cupcake, who is
Too far
perfectly
up.
fine. Now did Det FocusMe try to rush Baron?
I mean, potentially. I don't think that's the right call.
Seros is still dead for 10 seconds. He won't be able to make it in time. It looks like they're walking over to it, though. I'll just get the crab.
Yeah, getting his Rift Scuttle first. We'll spot out this Triangle that's being used by Legacy, so no, it's not exactly warded at the moment.
Carbon, however, is looking to face check a little bit.
Could pop
Very
ultimate.
worried about it. I wonder if that actually has vision. Does not.
Pops his ultimate to get some vision of that FocusMe.
So that's a better ultimate. That lets you know they're not on Baron.
It's more useful than his last ultimates. I've got to give you that. But as you were touching on in that last fight about how Legacy were able to split up Detonation FocusMe, they've got to really just take it away because Carbon was super overextended and they've just tunneled on him super hard. He is, you've got to admit, at this page, if you're Carbon, you know, the items he's built, he's not having a great game. He's relegated himself to a support role. He's looking for picks, he's looking for vision.
Chains, Warriors, Enchantment to Cinderhulk.
Yeah.
Full support, ready for action.
And really, we saw him jump onto Seros and get 2 rounds of spells out and do no damage. And then the Equalizer hits Seros in the head and his health melted. So you can really see where the carry threat is on this lineup. It's definitely in the top lane. It is not in the Knight's Vow Locket Rengar that is running around Summoner's Rift.
Ardent Sensor has been picked up by Cupcake here. The buff up lost as much as possible.
Dragon's been spotted out. Tally does have teleport available, so Baron can be started up. Here we go. Early TP again.
Yep, to the top lane, this time from Tally
To
coming
the
up
Baron
here.
pit.
Gonna look to see if they can try and take down this Baron.
Oh.
Mega Inferno Bomb in a good position. Does so much damage to Legacy. And suddenly Legacy are forced to back up. Cupcake's already been taken down. Unicorn flashing into the backlines. He gets 2. He's looking for 3. Gets the 3rd kill for himself. And that's a big team fight for Detonation FocusMe.
And they just funnel into another choke. The big Mega Infernal Bomb goes down. Tally has to waste the Zhonya's. The clean ace. It's going to be a Baron pickup. And all of a sudden, Detonation FocusMe, what looked like an even game, has now just turned on its head.
That fight just showed Legacy they're out of options. That is a fight, you know, you pick the Rumble, you want to fight around those types of objectives. You want to siege around with Jace. If they come in, you poke them out. Kiting with the Xayah, but that Ziggs ult, I'd love to know how much damage that did because that was insane. It just completely dismantled everything that Legacy wanted there.
You can see the 2 auto attacks and a cheeky satchel now take down the turret.
Still doesn't even have the Lichbane, but
no, just does not need it. I mean, Seros is having an absolutely stunner of a game on the Ziggs. This all of a sudden really makes playing red side versus DFM incredibly hard. On the blue side, you have the ability to ban out some niche things. On the red side, you generally have to get rid of the Galio, rid of the Zac. I mean, potentially Elise even at this stage because she's so strong. And that just means that, you know, things like Rek'Sai, things like the Ziggs are going to get through, and Detonation FocusMe just looks so well practiced on them.
And remember, the current format means that FocusMe only have to play 2 games in group stage. So their only other opponents against Ascension, maybe that forces the ban, gives them an edge in that next draft.
Do you want to ban Ziggs? Because this guy, he's a good mid laner. You can't take that away from him. He's got a lot of other options. He
was known for his Zillion.
Yeah, he's got his Zillion. That's another weird pick that can just wave clear for days. So are they able to throw away a ban for that? He's got so many more things up his sleeve.
And I'm just so happy that Udapon is back to playing AD carry. He's such a dynamic player to watch. I mean, flashing forward in that last
Baron
team fight. He is an X factor that will win you games. And 3-1 and 12. Maybe didn't have the early game we expect out of an Ashe, but in these team fights has certainly looked up to par. Not to mention Paz, you know, we questioned the Shen pickup. 4-0-11, certainly doing it justice. Across the board, DFM just looked incredibly comfortable against what is a team fighting Legacy comp.
As a team, they played great around the Shen. They saw that communication must be on point. He got into those fights so much earlier than Tally, and that was what really set up the early game. That's that inhibitor.
Inhibitor falling really quickly there for Detonation FocusMe as they push down middle. Legacy are 10, oh sorry, not 10,000, that's way too large. 8,000 gold behind Detonation FocusMe.
Not even 8,000 gold behind. They're 7,000 gold behind. Yeah, no, you can't. That's all right.
3,000 gold difference, it's fine. It'll be 10k later on.
The gold differential is expanding, Fish, is what I think you're trying to say.
Still got a 3rd on this Baron. I'll be interesting to see how they use it. I think at this stage, just look at Shen's items. He's beefy. He's probably able to...
Still actually went with the Gargoyle Stone play.
Yeah, so held on to the Giant spell.
Usually...
a little bit of extra hit points.
Yep.
That's actually... I haven't really considered that going into the Titanic Hydra. I believe that scales off... The bonus damage scales off your percent health.
Yep.
So...
Cinderhulk giving you extra health based on more health you have.
It's kind of like an aggressive locket. Aggressive stone plate locket.
Well, Locket is complete for Carbon. Still no stone play for him. He's working.
He's coming
on
on it. Don't worry about it. He's going to be very healthy.
Almost there.
But Locket is complete for Vivid, and we have another Knight's Vow complete this time for Paz.
All right, let's actually set up this late game. So we've got Paz pushing in the bottom lane. No one's going to be able to stop him. Super Creeps are coming mid lane. He's got the ultimate. He's also got teleport. Right now, with Udapon and Seros being able to just walk up and free-hit turrets, if Legacy do not pull the trigger, they will not have a chance.
Oh, that's a big four-man knockup coming out from Cupcake. Suddenly, everyone has to try and pile on in, but still, Legacy support falls first. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out. The Equalizer is just a little bit too late, but does quite a bit of damage there. Tally wants to try and clean this one up. They've already lost one member. They called Paz up to the top lane, but Legacy can only trade 2 for 1.
And that's why you can't go to the Shen lane. Imagine if Tally was there at the start of that fight.
So heartbreaking. So many of these fights,
Ooh.
you see on the back end of it, Tally's equalizers are just shredding them, but they're just not early enough.
Well, Legacy are going to try and defend what was left of their inhibitor. Tally flashes on him, pops the Zhonya's, hook lands onto Carbon. He's been locked down and taken down despite how tanky he is. Tally wants to go toe-to-toe. It's not enough. Utapon survives, and Lost gets hooked at the very last second for an ace picked up by Dead FM.
And let's see how quick Seros can take down turrets, because they've got a creep wave there. There is 8 seconds on Claire, but he just does them so damn quickly here.
He sure does. Cupcake trying to do whatever he can. He just can't. Turret 1 gone. Turret 2 destroyed, and the Nexus will be taken down. It will be Dead FM coming in on the top for the LJL.
And I mean, that's a clean victory. There were some team fights in the jungle that, you know, didn't look like they were going to swing Detonation FocusMe's way, but as soon as they got it back to the lane, when they were using the Ziggs for the sieging, for clearing out waves, I mean, that just looks so beautiful. And then a couple of good team fights around Dragon and Baron. I mean, they had everything in that game.
Yeah, you honestly just got to say, Legacy didn't know how to play against the Ziggs. There's not a lot of wave clear mids like that. I guess maybe Corky is the most.
I mean, not even Corky. Ziggs instant clears every way.
I'm just what's close to
Victor.
Ziggs in the current meta? Victor, he clears from pretty far, but even then, Ziggs is obviously twice the range of that.
Yeah.
And Legacy just weren't able. They didn't know how to play around it.
No.
I mean, at the same time, they didn't know how to play it in the wave clear, but they also didn't know how to play it in the team fight.
Fights.
I mean, so many times they were forcing themselves into the chokes because they were like, we have the jungle fighting composition.
We got Rumble.
We got Rumble. We got Xayah. We've got, you know, Rengar can jump in there and do all
they've
this
got
AoE
Ziggs.
damage. And they're like, well, no one's close. They've just thrown a Zig bombs at us. We have to disengage off objectives. And I think that was the telling point for me, is that they kept crowding into these, thinking we need a fight, we need a fight. But ultimately, that's what ended up costing them the game.
Fair play to Legacy, though. They were able to get good fights in the choke points. Cupcake with great ultimates, good knockouts, and also great equalizers, but never both of them at the same time.
I think Legacy showed a lot of potential in their comp. A lot of like we've touched on, the halves of the fights that went well, they went so well. You saw in that mid lane fight, Cupcake got a 3-man ulti knockup combo.
I never thought I was going to have to be the guy that bought like the oceanic bias down a notch. Legacy looked all out of sorts in those fights. They were engaging when they didn't have their top laner. Lost wasn't able to get access to any parts of the fight. I mean, that Xayah looked next to useless if people weren't running into her. I really do think that, you know, it looked okay from Legacy, but that was just because they were willing to continue the fight against the Rumble because 4 people were already dead. I mean, you're not worried about losing a member or 2 to Tally. If everyone else is cleaned up, you've got the objective and you're pushing for wins.
And we can actually take a look at that first team fight that you were talking about, Jake, where it was half and half for Legacy. The first half went really poorly for them, and the second half looked okay. That'll come up on your screen shortly. It was a dragon fight that kicked it off.
And the thing for me is, look where Tally is teleporting from. He thought he could walk to this fight, and he could not, because 3 members are dead by the time he gets here. He gets a good equalizer, sure. He's doing some good damage. But if that is the fight the Legacy are looking for, either wait for Tally to arrive or teleport instantly.
Yeah, that's just poor communication out of Legacy. Carbon just recently burned his ulti of trading out for Vivid's flash. We touched on that. Vivid, like, really great respect out of that. If he doesn't get picked, he knows he's going to win the fight. And Legacy were just 5 seconds too quick.
Yeah. Well, at every single fight, it seems like
5
Legacy.
seconds too quick, just to
too
have to
quick.
wait for Tally to
Too
get
slow.
there.
And it just wasn't enough for Legacy. And the other replay I really want to take a look at is that Baron fight that came out from them, because this is what decided the game for Dead
But this is
FocusMe.
the opposite. They're like, okay, we've been punished once. Let's all crowd into a Baron pit. And that is such extreme damage out of one ability. And you can see that on the back end of the team fight, sure, they have good return damage, but the damage, like, Seros had already wiped that fight. When you start a fight at half health on every member without burning any ultimates by a Zig bomb, I mean, fight over. Game over. That's how you lose games.
when you've got an Ashe flashing in that confidently, when Rumble ult's still up,
Yeah.
you just know the fight's over. You saw how much damage Cirrus's ulti did there. Tally even had to use his Zhonya's on it, and that just set up the fight, really.
And you can see that one team is on the exact same page, where they're
Yeah.
saying, if they go to this objective, guys can take Dragon, you know?
Yeah.
Make sure that you're teleporting in with the Shen. We're going to be able to stall them for long enough. And as soon as the ultimate hit, they're like, okay, now we win the fight. Whereas Legacy looked forced, they looked rushed, they looked nervous, honestly. And a little bit of a different showing in class.
Like in every fight, even the ones that Legacy executed like really poorly, you saw how much damage they were able to output with the Jace, the Xayah, the Rumble, but their coordination just wasn't on point.
Yeah, it certainly was. Detonation FocusMe looked fantastic in a match, pulling out with an unorthodox mid lane pick, but that's all for that game. We're about to get into the third game just a bit, but we're going to take a short break before we get to that one. Claire going aggressive against Seros, dodged out away from the satchel charge, but Seros is turning this one out quite nicely. Throws out a minefield and Steel flashes for the knockup. First blood picked up by Rek'Sai. They've lost in a sneaky situation now. He's caught between 4 members of the Japanese team. Good taunt landing onto Cupcake. He's forced to flash. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb thrown down their way as well. Tally's now a sitting duck. Will call on his Captain Cover to try and clean this one up, but he's not going to be able to do too much more. Rek'Sai's going to jump on top of him. Cover will be taken down. And Detonation FocusMe trade 2 for 4. Legacy startup Dragon. They're taking a lot of damage trying to get out of this pit. Carbon's locked down and gets blown up by the Ziggs to kick things off. Double kill for Seros in this fight. Late Equalizer coming out from Tally. He's trying to keep it alive. Triple kill for the Ziggs. Claire's going to be taken out by Steel, and that's an early ace. Yep, Legacy looking for a fight. They catch out Detonation FocusMe. Mega Inferno Bomb will connect onto 4 members. Tally's in the back lines on top of Utapon. He's got nowhere to go. Blast Code will get him to safety. He's still burning. And Carbon tries to launch in, but Seros interrupts his jump with the satchel charge. They take down the captain.
Big equalizer.
Paz right into the back lines. Double kill picked up by Seros. Claire looking for a fight. Almost gets taken down. Paz still trying to go toe-to-toe. He's going to be knocked away. Suddenly Steel's going to get out of there as well. Feda's being thrown into the ninja himself. Shock blast narrowly away from the Rek'Sai. Legacy will be able to pick up a 2-for-2 trade. Paz has been called up. Good sidestep from Carbon, but he's a sitting duck at the moment. Equalizer use trying to deter them. Shock blast combo onto everyone. Good damage. Redemption will heal them back up slightly. Feathers being thrown into the back lines by Lost. Cupcake's trying to charm his way out of some trouble here. FocusMe, they're incredibly split, and Tally is now burning through the back lines. Pumps his zombies a little bit early, but Claire snipes him from downtown, and Rumble is still chasing the back line of FocusMe. In the end, it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Mega Inferno Bomb in a good position. Does so much damage to Legacy, and suddenly Legacy are forced to back up. Cupcake's already been taken down. Utapon flashing into the back lines. He gets 2. He's looking for 3. Gets the 3rd kill for himself, and that's a big team fight for Detonation FocusMe. Oh, that's a big 4-man knockup coming out from Cupcake. Suddenly everyone has to try and pile on in, but still Legacy support falls first. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out. The Equalizer's just a little bit too late, but does quite a bit of damage there. Tally wants to try and clean this one up. Cupcake trying to do whatever he can. He just can't. Turret 1 gone. Turret 2 destroyed, and the Nexus will be taken down. It will be DFM coming in on the top for the LJL.